Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the topic of what is the best movie genre out there. So for this video, I'm going to explain in a simple and straightforward way what is the best movie genre in a way that anyone can understand, as well as a lesson that there is to learn from this topic, okay? So now I mention that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of what the best movie genre is, hands down, no debate, it is the sci-fi movie genre. So when it comes to the reason why I say it's the sci-fi movie genre, it is because there's so many things you can do with it. Okay, from a subjective, or I should say more like preferential perspective, there's no such thing. People have different preferences, but from a logical, technical perspective, it's definitely sci-fi. Okay, because sci-fi offers the ability for you to do so many things with it, okay? Because it's consists of the idea of what's going on in the universe, which the universe is extremely massive. There's so many things you can add to it. Like there's literally hundreds of billions of of solar systems in each galaxy. There's hundreds of billions of galaxies. Like that gives you much of a space when it comes to ideas you can come up with, if that is, of course, you know, the fundamental premise of what the universe is. So it gives you a lot of room for ideas of things you can do, a lot of different worlds and scenarios you can think of, instead of just simply thinking about, of course, you know, um, how you can come up with a new idea, okay? Because when you rely on genres that are more one worlded, whether it could relate to maybe ancient civilizations, um, you know, fantasy as well, that kind of relates to that. Um, like Lord of the Rings type of stuff, or it could be things that happen in real world, like World War II, to more the modern day era, at least close to the modern day era, like World War II, like Saving Private Ryan, or it could be maybe a bit futuristic, but it still takes place on a planet we live on, like Ghost in the Shell, things like that. It obviously limits the ability for you to really come up with many different ideas. If you have a genre like that is consistent of a very limited area of things you can do, there's only so many things you can come up with until it's like, I've run out of ideas. Okay, to be honest with you, okay, there's only so many things you can do. There's only so many um, places you can have, environments you can have. There's only so many characters you can think of, all that type of stuff until it's like, I have no ideas left. So you just simply have to figure out, like, common sense is going to indicate, how much stuff is actually available, okay? Because there's only so many things available until it's like, I can't think of anything else, okay? Just like a perfect example would be like the mafia, you know, if you have a genre that's based on a mafia, especially the American mafia, okay? There's only so many locations, so many places you can have characters in, so many type of plot lines, until it's like, we've already thought of this before, we've already done this before, so what's new? Okay, just like locations, how many locations can you have for a story? There's only so many places in New York City, so many places in New Jersey and the surrounding area, around that area where the mafia stuff took place, until it's like, we've run out of ideas. Okay, so to answer your question, in short, that is the reason why sci-fi is the best one from a technical perspective. When it comes to preference of what you like, definitely not, because people have different preferences. People can decide what they like and what they don't like. Obviously, I can't force you for that. So when it comes to the preference element, but when it comes to the technical side of things, like technically, um, you know, when it comes to what works best, it's sci-fi, because there's just so many things you can do with it. There's so many different planets, so many different situations. There's so many different variations. You can create a sci-fi universe that's more magic themed. You can create a sci-fi universe where it's more themed in a different way. There's so many things you could do until it's like it's actually ridiculous. There's so many things you can think of, and it's like I can't think of anything more than this. You know, is something that doesn't even come up because there's so many things to think about. You know, so many different types of scenarios and stuff. And the universe is a massive place, so there's a bunch of things to think of until it's like, yeah, there's it's just if anything, there's too many ideas you can come up with, believe it or not. So in short, to answer your question, that is honest truth. Okay, when it comes to this answering this particular question, okay. To be quite blunt and honest with you, okay, to speak the honest truth, okay, that's why sci-fi is the best genre, because there's the most amount of ideas you can come up with, so you don't run out of ideas for things, okay. Like some types of themes pretty much have run out of ideas, and that's the honest truth, okay. So now that I mentioned that, the lesson that there is to learn from this particular video, which there is a lesson to learn, which I said there was going to be, and there definitely is going to be, is that the lesson is to learn is that even though we as human beings have different preferences and stuff, and of course there's that annoying term that goes around everything subjective, there are some objective things that determine how good something's going to be. Just like when it comes to figuring out like what type of entertainment people are going to like, truth be told, there is objective rules that will determine what people are going to like when you're making it for a massive audience. So obviously, if you have a massive audience, there's certain rules of what people are going to like and what they're not going to like. Okay, to be honest with you, okay, and that's the honest truth here. So when it comes to, of course, this particular topic, um, you know, uh, it's no different. Okay, there's when it comes to objectively what is the best genre, at least from a technical perspective, when it comes to the most amount of ideas. So there's the most amount of ideas, so there's the most amount of things you like. It's no different here. There is an objective evidence to show that this is the best um, movie genre in a sense, okay, because you just don't have to worry about running out of ideas, okay. So the point is that there are objective rules that determine how good something is, okay. It's not just saying everything's subjective like you hear all the time, and that's a lesson that there is to learn from this, okay. So that's honest truth. So anyway, this is my video. This is all to say, and just remember, if you like this video, remember to thumb this video up and hit the subscribe button, and that's all to say, and simply put, I'm out. So bye.